The bridge of the asterisk, indomitable asterisk, was a crypt. Dust, thick as grave shroud, coated every console, every viewport, a silent testament to 5 millennia of stillness. Then a low thrum vibrated through the deck plates, a sound so ancient it felt like a ghost stirring. A single amber light flickered on a primary power conduit, then another, spreading like a dormant disease waking a forgotten host. Admiral Kato Ishikawa's eyes snapped open. Not a slow, gradual awakening, but an instantaneous, agonizing surge of consciousness. His lungs burned, a phantom ache from the deep cryo-sleep. He gagged, coughing up a mouthful of stale, metallic air as the life support systems finally purged the inert gases from his chamber. Beside him, Commander Eva Rostova groaned, a low, guttural sound. Her hand, still encased in a bioglove, twitched. "Report," Kaido rasped, his voice raw, alien even to himself. The word clawed its way out of his throat, demanding obedience. A series of rapid beeps and chimes erupted from the main console, a cacophony that shattered the crypt-like silence. Screens flared to life, not with crisp data, but with static, then flickering images of long-dead systems. Admiral Kryorakov. Unexpected, Eva managed, pushing herself upright. Her eyes, wide and unfocused, scanned the reviving bridge. Power fluctuations across the fleet. Fleet. Kaido's mind raced, a torrent of half-formed memories. The war, the final stand. Earth, burning. What fleet? As if in answer, a massive, distorted image materialized on the main view screen. It was the Asterisk heart of Sol Asterisk, flagship of the 7th Fleet, its formidable silhouette scared but intact. Beyond it, a veritable constellation of humanity's last desperate gamble. Dreadnoughts, carriers, destroyers, thousands of vessels, each a dormant titan, now stirring. Fleet-wide awakening. A synthesized voice crackled through the bridge comms, sharp and sudden. It was the ship's AI, Asterisk Prometheus Asterisk, its protocols re-engaging after 500,000 years. Anomalous energy signature detected. Multiple contacts, unidentified. Designations, non-human. Kaido clambered to his feet, a searing jolt of adrenaline cutting through the lingering inertia of cryo-sleep. He stumbled to the main viewport, wiping a thick layer of dust from the reinforced glass. Beyond the hull, the stars were a familiar, cold tapestry, but something was wrong. A faint, greenish haze pulsed in the void, a distant, sickly glow. "Zoom," he commanded, his voice growing stronger with each word. The view screen zoomed, resolving the distant haze into a sprawling armada. Not human. Never human. Their ships were angular, insectoid, bristling with weaponry that defied known tactical doctrine. The Vithair. The ancient enemy, thought vanquished, thought dead. Threat assessment, Prometheus. Eva shouted, now fully awake, her fingers dancing over a still-lagging console. Energy signatures consistent with Vithair mainline battlecruisers. Numerical superiority. Overwhelming, Prometheus replied, its voice devoid of inflection, yet the unspoken terror hung heavy in the air. They are in formation, preparing for an assault. A distant flash, then another. Lasers, vibrant green, lanced through the void, heading directly for the dormant human fleet. It was a spearhead, a declaration. Defensive protocols. Kaido roared, a primal warrior's cry erupting from the depths of his being. Wake up the fleet. All hands to battle stations. Fire control, lock on their lead elements. This isn't the drill. This is war. But as the first green lances struck the outer shields of the human fleet, detonating with silent, blinding fury, Kaido realized the horrific truth. The Vithair weren't preparing an assault. They were already asterisk in asterisk the assault. They had found them. And humanity's last hope, The sleeping giants of the Sol Defense Fleet were waking to a galaxy that had moved on, and an enemy that remembered. The fight, it seemed, was far from over. Plasma fire screamed past the Indomitable's viewport, painting the inky blackness with emerald streaks. The ship shuddered, a bone-deep tremor that vibrated through Kaido's boots. Alarms shrieked, a chaotic symphony of impending doom. On the main tactical display, holographic markers representing Vither vessels swarmed the human fleet, a hungry, parasitic cloud. Shields at 80% and falling. Eva yelled, her voice strained as she fought against a flickering console. Sparks showered from an overloaded conduit beside her. Their primary energy projectors are facing through our dormant shields. We're taking full impact. Why aren't our shields up? Kaido bellowed, gripping the edge of the command console, knuckles white. His mind reeled. 500,000 years. The enemy had evolved. Their weapons, too. Partial power only, Admiral. Prometheus's voice was sharp with urgency. Systemic degradation across the fleet. It's taking critical time to bring core functions online. The Heart of Sol reports similar issues. Another impact. This one closer. The Indomitable lurched violently to port, sending a technician sprawling across the deck. Emergency lights flared red, bathing the bridge in a terrifying, pulsating glow. The air crackled with ozone. Damage report. Kaido demanded, his gaze fixed on the view screen, watching the agonizingly slow process of his fleet's awakening. A Vanguard class dreadnought, the Ironclad drifted helplessly, its hull shimmering with failing shield effects as Vither projectiles hammered it relentlessly. Multiple hull breaches on decks 3 and 4. Eva's voice was a ragged gasp. Pressure integrity failing. Life support failing in Sector Gamma. Can we return fire? Kaido asked, his voice low, dangerous. He saw the green lances tearing apart his ships, and a cold, ancient fury began to simmer within him. This wasn't just an ambush, it was an execution. Weapons systems cycling, Admiral, but targeting solutions are sporadic, Prometheus responded. Long-range kinetics online in 60 seconds. Primary energy cannons, 2 minutes. They're too close. Outside, the Ironclad shuddered one last time, then exploded in a silent, expanding fireball of ruptured metal and superheated atmosphere. The flash briefly illuminated the Vither assault, revealing their sheer numbers, their methodical brutality. They're not just attacking, Eva whispered, her eyes wide with horror, fixed on the unfolding massacre. They're dissecting us, systematically. They knew we were here. Kaido's eyes narrowed. They didn't no we were here, Commander. They were waiting . The revelation hit him like a physical blow. This wasn't a chance encounter. This was a trap. A patient, 500,000-year-old trap. Admiral, multiple Vither boarding craft detected. Prometheus's voice rose, a rare inflection of alarm. They're deploying fast attack frigates to disable and board. They're not just destroying us. They're trying to salvage. Or something worse. Boarding craft. Kaido spun, his gaze sweeping the terrified faces of his skeleton crew. They want our tech, our ships, our data, or they want us. His jaw clenched. Eva, get a message out to the Heart of Sol and the Excalibur *. Prioritize combat readiness over all else. Tell them to initiate defensive counterboarding protocols. If they get inside, it's over. As he spoke, a dull thump echoed through the Indomitable's hull, followed by the metallic screech of tearing alloys. A Vither boarding pod had just latched onto the command cruiser. The ship groaned in protest. Breach alert. Deck 2, forward section. A distant voice shrieked over the comms, cut short by the wet gurgle of a dying man. Kaido drew the energy pistol from his hip, its familiar weight a cold comfort in his hand. Prometheus, vent atmosphere in any section they breach. Depressurize and burn. Don't let them take anything intact. Acknowledged, Admiral. Casualties will be extensive. Casualties are inevitable, Kaido snarled, moving towards the heavy blast door that led to the ship's interior. But surrender is not an option. Not for humanity. Not ever. He glanced back at Eva. Her face was grim, but her eyes held a spark of defiant fire. She nodded, already hammering commands into her console. The bridge was a maelstrom of flashing lights, screaming alarms, and the ever-present thrum of a dying ship. Outside, the Vithair continued their slow, methodical butchery. The war, which had ended 500,000 years ago, had just begun anew, and humanity was waking up to its own funeral. The air in the Indomitable's main corridor was a symphony of chaos. The hiss of rupturing bulkheads, the high-pitched whine of energy weapons, and the guttural snarls of unseen combatants. Kaido moved with a desperate urgency, his energy pistol humming to life in his grip. The blast door behind him sealed with a pneumatic hiss, temporarily holding back the immediate threat from the bridge. Forward elements are engaging boarders on Deck 2. A comms officer, still covered in cryodust, shouted into his headset from a nearby comm station. Heavy resistance. They're using some kind of energy shield. It's deflecting our standard kinetic rounds. Kaido swore under his breath. The Vithair hadn't just evolved their starship weaponry. Their infantry was also deadlier. Switched to plasma bolts. He barked, checking the charge on his weapon. They'll overload shields. Anything else? Casualties are mounting, Admiral. Another voice, young and panicked, cried over the comms. They're fast. Too fast. A sudden explosion ripped through the corridor ahead. Flames gouted from a breached pipe, baiting the passage in an orange, flickering light. Silhouetted against the inferno were two figures, tall and spindly, their multi-jointed limbs moving with unnatural speed. Vithair. Their chitinous armor shimmered, deflecting stray energy discharges. One of them carried a weapon that pulsed with an eerie green light. Kaido didn't hesitate. He raised his pistol and fired. A searing bolt of plasma lanced out, striking the lead Vithair squarely in the chest. The creature shrieked, a high-pitched, metallic sound, and stumbled back, its armor smoking. But it didn't fall. Instead, the green glow from its weapon intensified, and a shimmering, almost invisible barrier flared around it. The plasma bolt dissipated against it, harmlessly. Shields, Kaido muttered, a grim realization dawning. Personal energy shields. They're fueling infantry with tactical shields. He ducked just as a green energy beam sizzled past his head, impacting the bulkhead behind him with a sickening thud. The Vithair advanced, their alien faces obscured by visors, their movements fluid and terrifyingly coordinated. Admiral, they've just breached Deck 5, near the primary reactor access. Prometheus announced, its voice now tinged with a digital urgency. If they reach the core, the Indomitable is lost. Kaido knew what that meant. Not just the ship, but the entire fleet. The Indomitable was the command and control hub for the initial awakening sequence. Without it, the other ships would flounder, waking to an even more brutal, uncoordinated demise. Eva, I need you to redirect all available power to the reactor section's internal defenses. Kaido shouted into his comlink, his eyes never leaving the advancing Vithair. Seal every bulkhead, vent every section if necessary. I don't care if we lose entire decks. They cannot reach that core. Acknowledged, Admiral. Eva's voice, though strained, held a fierce resolve. Initiating emergency lockdown on reactor decks. Crew are being evacuated, but it's going to be a scramble. Kaido fired again, aiming for the Vithur's unshielded legs. The plasma bolt struck, and this time, the creature buckled, its limb dissolving into charred ruin. It screamed, a sound that made the hairs on Kaido's neck stand on end, then collapsed. His second shot vaporized its head. The remaining Vithur paused, its green energy weapon momentarily wavering. It had seen its comrade fall. A flicker of something that looked like hesitation, perhaps even fear, crossed its alien features. "This is why they call us unpredictable, you bastards," Kaido snarled, stepping over the burning remains of the first Vithur. He stalked forward, not retreating, but advancing into the heart of the breach. "Because we never give up." He raised his pistol, targeting the second Vithur. It returned fire, a precise, devastating beam that ripped through the corridor wall next to him. Kaido dove, rolling behind a shattered console, the acrid smell of burning electronics filling his nostrils. The Vithur pressed its advantage, its energy weapon tearing apart the console, shards of metal spraying around him. He was pinned, alone against an enemy that had evolved, an enemy that had waited for 500,000 years to finish what it had started. But the thought of humanity's extinction, of Earth burning, fueled a cold, unyielding resolve within him. He was not just Kaido Ishikawa. He was the last echo of a vanished race, and he would fight to the last breath. The core of the asterisk, indomitable asterisk, hummed below, a constant reminder of the stakes. He had to reach it. He had to protect it. Kaido pushed off the shattered console, firing wildly as he scrambled back. The Vithur's green beam tracked him, scorching the deck plates where he'd been a heartbeat before. The acrid smell of burnt plastic and ozone filled his nostrils. He needed a distraction, anything to buy him a few precious seconds. "Prometheus, I need every remaining automated defense turret in this sector online." Kaido roared, skidding to a halt behind a reinforced structural pillar. "Prioritize targets with energy shields." "Affirmative, Admiral," Prometheus responded, its voice clipped. "Activating dormant sentry units. Warning: power reserves are critically low due to ongoing combat and system recovery." A familiar whirring sound echoed from the ceiling. A panel slid open, revealing a compact, triple-barreled auto turret. It swiveled, its targeting optics locking onto the advancing Vithur. The alien warrior, confident in its personal shield, barely reacted, raising its own weapon. The turret spat a volley of superheated slugs. They hammered against the Vithur's shield, each impact blooming into a miniature starburst of green energy. The alien finally recoiled, its shield flickering under the sustained assault. This was it. Kaido burst from cover, firing a plasma bolt at the precise moment the Vithur's shield wavered. The bolt slammed into its chest, punching through the exposed armor. The creature shrieked, a dying, gurgling sound, and crumpled to the deck, its multi-jointed limbs thrashing in its death throes. Kaido didn't pause. He sprinted deeper into the ship, following the faint glow of emergency lights, the sounds of battle growing closer. He could hear distant shouts, human voices, fragmented and desperate. The ship was a labyrinth of death and awakening. "Admiral, Vithur forces have reached the main conduit hub on Deck 5. Eva's voice crackled through his comms, laced with panic. "They're attempting to sever power lines to the reactor core. If they cut them, the entire fleet's primary awakening sequence will fail." The gravity of her words hit Kaido with the force of a physical blow. The awakening wasn't just about bringing the ships back online. It was about synchronizing their power cores, their weapons, their shields, a complex ballet of ancient technology. If the Asterisk Indomitable's Asterisk Central Conduit Hub was severed, the entire fleet would be dead in the water, waking up only to be slaughtered piece by piece. "Seal off the conduit hub. Emergency blast doors," Kaido ordered, pushing himself to run faster, his cryo-sleep-addled muscles screaming in protest. "Acknowledged, Admiral," but they are already inside. Fighting is intense. Prometheus responded, "We have only skeleton crews in that sector, primarily maintenance personnel who were in deeper cryo. They are unprepared for combat." Unprepared. That was the grim reality of it. Humanity had slept for 500 millennia, their fleet a graveyard, and now they were being asked to fight a war they already lost once against an enemy that had perfected its craft. He rounded a corner and skidded to a halt. The scene before him was horrific. The conduit hub was a sprawling cavern of glowing energy conduits and intricate wiring. And it was a charnel house. Several Vither warriors, larger and more heavily armored than the ones he'd faced, were systematically tearing apart the conduits, their alien weapons superheating and melting the vital lines. Lying among the sparking wreckage were the mangled bodies of human crewmen, their tools still clutched in frozen hands. They hadn't stood a chance. One of the Vither turned, its head tilting as it detected Cato's presence. It was massive, easily twice the size of a man, its chitinous armor reflecting the chaotic light. It let out a guttural roar and charged, its multi-jointed limbs propelling it with terrifying speed. This was no skirmisher. This was a heavy assault unit. Cato knew he couldn't outrun it, and his energy pistol felt like a toy against its sheer bulk. He had to make a stand. He had to buy time. He glanced at the severed conduits, sparking and dying. The fleet's lifeblood. "This is it," Cato muttered, raising his pistol. His face was a mask of grim determination. For Earth. For everyone. He fired, knowing it was likely a futile gesture, but defiance was all humanity had left. The colossal Vither warrior shrugged off the plasma bolt, its personal shield flaring with a sickly green energy. It didn't even slow its charge. Cato dove to the side, narrowly avoiding a multi-limbed sweep that would have pulped him. He scrambled backwards, firing again and again, but his energy pistol was useless against the hulking alien. This wasn't a fight. It was a desperate delaying action. He saw the damaged conduits, sparks flying like dying stars, the severed energy lines already draining power from the critical awakening sequence. The indomitable asterisk groaned around them, a mournful sound as its lifeblood ebbed. He knew what he had to do. "Prometheus, lock down this section. All personnel. I want a complete atmospheric dump. Now." Cato barked into his comms, his voice raspy with exertion. "Admiral, that will kill any remaining human personnel in this sector, including yourself." Prometheus's voice held a rare, almost human, note of protest. "Do it." Cato screamed, rolling away from another devastating blow. The Vither was relentless, its alien roar echoing in the cavernous hub. He was pinned against a console, the controls sparking from a near miss. No Vither leaves this chamber. Not with our secrets, not with our ships. The Vither lunged, its clawed hand snatching at Cato. He twisted, the razor-sharp talons tearing a gash in his arm. Pain flared, hot and immediate, but he ignored it. He saw the Vither's unshielded eye slit, a momentary vulnerability. He plunged his pistol forward, not firing, but smashing the muzzle directly into the creature's visual sensor. The Vither shrieked, a high-pitched, agonizing sound, and recoiled, clutching its ruined eye. It stumbled back, momentarily disoriented. This was his chance. "Admiral." "Confirmed atmospheric purge initiated," Prometheus announced, the ship's internal comms now echoing with the warning klaxon of depressurization. "Internal integrity compromised. Estimated time to full vacuum, 45 seconds." Cato gasped for air, the pressure in the chamber already dropping, making his ears pop. The Vither, its vision impaired, lashed out blindly, its claws tearing through the air where Cato had been moments before. He felt the cold, creeping tendrils of vacuum beginning to sap the heat from the air. He looked at the severed conduits, then at the still functioning ones, some still glowing with the faint power directed towards the fleet's awakening. If he could just redirect power, overload them, cause a massive surge. He lunged for the exposed control panel of a nearby conduit, ignoring the Vther's desperate thrashing. His fingers, numb with cold, fumbled over the ancient controls. He wasn't the technician, but he remembered the schematics, the emergency protocols. The core, the very heart of the fleet's resurrection, was humming below. He had to ensure it was protected, even if it meant sacrificing the conduit hub. And himself. The Vther let out another roar, its good eye finding Kaido, recognizing his intent. It lunged, faster than before, knowing what he was about to do. Kaido gritted his teeth, punching the override command, redirecting the last vestiges of power into a feedback loop. A searing, blinding flash erupted from the conduit. The Vther's charge faltered, its chidness armor glowing a furious red as the surge of power washed over it. It screamed, a sound of pure agony, as its form distorted, then exploded in a shower of superheated shrapnel and molten chitin. Kaido was thrown back by the force of the blast, slamming against a bulkhead. The air was thin, icy, and filled with the stench of ozone and scorched alien flesh. The atmospheric purge was almost complete. He could feel the vacuum clawing at his lungs. Fleet awakening. Status. Kaido wheezed, fighting for every breath, his vision blurring at the edges. Partial success, Admiral. Prometheus responded, its voice faint, distorted by the dying comms. The asterisk heart of Sol asterisk. The asterisk Excalibur asterisk. They are online. Weapons systems, fully engaged. Shields, at 70% and rising. Outside the asterisk indomitable asterisk, Kaido could dimly perceive new flashes in the void. Not green Vther fire, but brilliant, searing bolts of blue and white. Human plasma. Human kinetics. The fleet. It was waking up. They were fighting back. A grim, defiant smile touched Kaido's lips. He had bought them time. He had given them a chance. As the last of the air rushed from the conduit hub, and the cold embrace of the void enveloped him, Kaido Ishikawa, admiral of the vanished human fleet, closed his eyes. The war had truly begun. Deep space, a maelstrom of light and fury. The asterisk heart of Sol asterisk, a behemoth of human engineering, carved a path through the Vther armada, its primary energy cannons unleashing torrents of superheated plasma. Captain Alina Rostova, her face grim with resolve, watched the tactical display. The loss of the asterisk indomitable asterisk was a fresh wound, a raw testament to the enemy's brutal efficiency. But Kaido had bought them time. He had bought them defiance. Report on the asterisk, Excalibur's asterisk status. Alina barked, her voice cutting through the bridge's controlled chaos. The bridge of the asterisk heart of Sol asterisk was a crucible of flashing lights and shouted commands. Alarms still blared, but now they were a backdrop to the organized chaos of battle, not the panicked cries of a waking crypt. The asterisk Excalibur asterisk is fully operational, Captain. Tactical Officer Jian Lai shouted over the din. Its shields are holding at 75%, and its spinal lance is charging. They're engaging the Vther flagship. Alina's eyes narrowed. The Vther flagship, a monstrous vessel unlike any they had encountered before the long sleep, pulsed with malevolent energy. It was the head of the snake, and the asterisk Excalibur asterisk, a ship designed for surgical strikes, was aiming for the kill. Tell them to aim for their primary weapon conduits. Alina commanded. That thing is too powerful. We can't take sustained fire from it. Outside, the void was alive with explosions. Human kinetic rounds, ancient designs but still devastatingly effective, tore through Vther shields, followed by blue-white plasma bolts that vaporized sections of their hulls. The Vther, once the hunters, were now facing an awakening nightmare. Vther battle groups are attempting to outflank our dreadnoughts. Jian Lai reported, his fingers dancing across the console. They're trying to encircle the fleet. Our cruisers are too slow to react. No, they're not, Elena muttered, a cold glint in her eyes. Prometheus, are the dormant drone swarms online? Affirmative, Captain, the AI responded, its voice now clear and precise. Pre-programmed attack parameters uploaded. Awaiting command. Unleash them, Elena ordered, her voice devoid of hesitation. Target their flanking elements. Show them humanity's wrath. Thousands of tiny dots, invisible on the main view screen, launched from the hangars of the human carriers. These were not traditional fighters. These were autonomous drones, each a self-contained warhead, programmed for a single devastating purpose: saturation attack. They swarmed with their flanking maneuvers, a cloud of vengeful steel. On the view screen, the Vuthair ships attempting to outflank them suddenly erupted into chaotic explosions. The drones, small and fast, detonated en masse, creating a wall of localized destruction. The alien formations broke, their disciplined advance dissolving into confusion. They're reeling, Jian Lai exclaimed, a rare smile gracing his lips. They didn't anticipate this. Their tactics are breaking down. They underestimated us, Elena said, her voice flat. They always did. She knew the Vuthair were a meticulous, logical species. They had planned for every contingency except one: the sheer, unadulterated unpredictability of humanity. They had accounted for the technology, the power, even the sheer numbers. But they hadn't accounted for the rage of a species that had slept for 500,000 years, only to wake up to its own attempted genocide. Captain, the Excalibur reports Spinal Lance is at 100% charge. Jian Lai reported, they're firing. A blinding lance of pure energy, brilliant as a miniature sun, erupted from the Excalibur's bow. It tore through the void, a silent, unstoppable spear, directly towards their flagship. The alien vessel's shields flared, then buckled, unable to withstand the ancient, concentrated power. The lance struck, and their flagship's midsection erupted in a catastrophic explosion that dwarfed anything seen so far. The ship fractured, then disintegrated, a testament to the brutal efficiency of human weaponry. A roar of triumph erupted on the Heart of Sol's bridge. But Elena didn't join them. She knew this was just the beginning. The enemy was still vast, and humanity's awakening fleet, while formidable, was still outnumbered. The Vuthair had just lost their flagship, but their resolve, she knew, would not break so easily. This was not a victory. This was merely the first bloody skirmish in a war that had been rekindled after 500,000 years. The true fight was yet to come, and it would be far more terrible than any of them could imagine. The initial euphoria on the Heart of Sol's bridge evaporated as quickly as it had appeared. The destruction of their flagship, while a tactical victory, had ignited a deeper, more savage response from the alien fleet. Their fractured formations reformed, not into a disciplined battle line, but into a desperate, rabid swarm. Captain, they're committing everything. Jian Li's voice was strained. Swarm tactics, no discernible pattern. They're just throwing themselves at us. Elena watched the tactical display, her jaw tight. The Vuthair, usually so precise, so methodical, were acting like enraged animals. This wasn't strategy. This was pure, unadulterated vengeance. The loss of their command had unhinged them. Damage reports across the fleet, she asked, her voice calm despite the escalating chaos. The Prometheus class carriers are taking heavy hits. Eva Rostova reported, having transferred her station to the Heart of Sol after Cato's sacrifice. Her face was grim, her earlier defiance tempered by the brutal reality of sustained combat. Their outer defenses are crumbling under the sheer volume of fire. We're losing fighter wings faster than we can launch them. Target their carriers, Elena ordered. They're trying to overwhelm our point defenses. Take out their launch bays. Outside, the void was a canvas of constant explosions. Human ships, built for a war long past, weathered the storm with a stoic defiance. But every impact, every flickering shield, spoke of attrition. Captain, long-range scans detecting a new energy signature. Jian Lai announced, his brow furrowed in concentration. Coming from, beyond the initial Vither lines. Massive, unknown configuration. And it's charging. Alina felt a cold dread trickle down her spine. The Vither always had a contingency. Always a hidden blade. Prometheus, identify that signature. What is it? Analysis underway, Captain, the AI replied, its voice devoid of its usual clinical certainty. The energy output is unlike any known Vither weapon system. Estimates, off the charts. It appears to be a planet-based weapon. They're firing from the system's primary gas giant. A planet-based weapon. The Vither had transformed a gas giant into a weapon platform. It was a level of desperation, of strategic foresight, that chilled Elena to the bone. They hadn't just been waiting. They had been preparing an ultimate trap. Full evasive maneuvers. Elena roared, though she knew it was likely futile. A weapon of that magnitude wouldn't be easily evaded. All power to shields, bracing for impact. On the main view screen, a colossal beam of pure focused energy, incandescent blue, erupted from the swirling clouds of the gas giant. It tore through the void, silent and implacable, aimed directly at the heart of the human fleet. It was far wider, far more powerful than any weapon they had encountered. Impact in 10 seconds. Jian Lai yelled, his face a mask of horror. Alina stared at the approaching apocalypse. This wasn't just a weapon, it was a statement. The Vither wanted to make sure humanity was utterly, irrevocably obliterated. Prometheus, what are our chances? Elena asked, her voice barely a whisper yet firm. Negligible, Captain, the AI responded, its usual unflappable tone cracking with static. No known shield configuration can withstand a direct hit from that magnitude of energy. The fleet will be vaporized. 500 millennia. 500 millennia of silence, of waiting, only to wake up and be erased by a weapon forged in the depths of a gas giant. The irony was a bitter taste in her mouth. Unless, Eva Rostova muttered, her eyes fixed on a secondary tactical display showing the asterisk Heart of Sol's asterisk core systems. Unless we do something impossible. Alina turned to Eva, a flicker of desperate hope in her eyes. What is it, Commander? Eva looked up, her gaze meeting Alina's. The asterisk Heart of Sol asterisk has a theoretical, experimental drive. A last resort. A jump capability that can punch through reality itself. It was never fully tested, never authorized for combat. But if we can power it, we might be able to take a piece of the Vither fleet with us. Her voice was low, filled with a terrible certainty. A desperate measure, Captain. But it might be our only way to inflict a wound so deep they never forget it. The blue beam of destruction filled the view screen, growing larger, more terrifying with every passing second. Elena had seconds to decide. An impossible jump, a desperate, final act. Or annihilation. The choice was clear. Initiate the experimental jump drive, Commander. Alina's voice was a steel whip, cutting through the rising tide of fear on the bridge. All power to the asterisk Heart of Sol's asterisk core. Overload the conduits if you have to. Eva's fingers flew across her console, her face etched with grim determination. Acknowledged, Captain. Redirecting main power. Systems groaning under the strain. This is going to tear us apart. The ship shuddered, a raw, tormented groan that resonated through every deck. Lights flickered violently, and consoles sparked as power was diverted, ripped from non-essential systems, and slammed into the experimental drive. Outside, the blue beam of the Vithere planet killer filled the view screen, its imminent impact a silent, terrifying countdown. Gravitational stabilizers failing. Jin Lai shouted, fighting to maintain his balance as the deck tilted precariously. Warp core containment at 95%. We're going critical. Hold it together. Elena roared, gripping the command chair. She could feel the immense, impossible forces tearing at the heart of Sol *, pushing it beyond its design limits. The air crackled with raw energy, the smell of ozone thick and acrid. This wasn't just a jump. It was a violent, catastrophic tearing of reality. Impact in 3, 2, 1. Prometheus's voice was drowned out by a crescendo of tortured metal and screaming alarms. The blue beam slammed into the heart of Sol *. For a fraction of a second, an eternity of pure energy, the human flagship glowed with an impossible internal light, caught between annihilation and a desperate, uncharted escape. The Vithere, watching from their armada, would have seen a flash unlike any other, a sudden implosion of reality itself. Then, with a deafening, reality-shattering crack the heart of Sol * vanished. Not merely jumped, but ripped from space-time, taking with it a significant chunk of the Vithere armada that had been in close proximity. The blue beam, deprived of its target, continued to scour the void, but where the flagship had been, there was now only a swirling vortex of energy and the fragmented, exploding remnants of their ships. They had been caught in the wake, swallowed by the impossible jump. Silence descended upon the Vithere system, broken only by the crackle of dying vessels. Their planet killer had fired. Their ultimate weapon. And humanity's flagship, instead of being vaporized, had ripped a hole in their reality, taking a piece of their fleet with it. Far away, in a distant, uncharted sector of the galaxy, the heart of Sol * reappeared. Not smoothly, not cleanly, but violently, as if spat out of existence itself. Its hull screamed, venting atmosphere from countless newly opened breaches. Sparks rained from every console, and emergency lights pulsed a frantic red. On the bridge, Elena was thrown from her chair, slamming against a bulkhead. She gasped, fighting for breath, the taste of blood in her mouth. Around her, crewmen lay sprawled, unconscious or worse. Report. Elena wheezed, pushing herself up, her body screaming in protest. Prometheus's voice crackled, barely audible through the ruined comms. Damage. Extensive. Warp core. Unstable. Power. 90% lost. But we are here. A significant portion of the Vithere fleet. Annihilated in transit anomaly. Jin Lai, coughing violently, managed to crawl back to his station. His eyes, though bruised, were wide with the horrifying awe. Captain, scans show a graveyard. Their ships, twisted, melted, trapped in the void where we appeared. Elena stumbled to the main viewport. The stars outside were alien, unknown. But scattered across the blackness were the grotesque, impossibly mangled remains of their warships, caught in the wake of the heart of Sol's impossible jump. Some were half-formed, fused with shimmering, unknown energies. Others were simply gone, leaving only ghostly outlines. She looked at Eva, who was slowly, painfully, coming to. A single tear tracked through the dust and grime on Eva's cheek. It wasn't relief. It was something deeper. We made it, Eva whispered, her voice hoarse. But where are we? What have we done? Elena looked out at the alien stars, then at the silent, cosmic wreckage of their enemy. They had escaped annihilation, yes. But at what cost? They were adrift, wounded, and alone in an unknown galaxy, having just unleashed a weapon of such unimaginable power that it had broken reality itself. The Vithere would never forget this. Humanity, the sleeping giant, had woken up not just to finish a fight, but to change the very rules of existence. The war had just escalated beyond all comprehension, and humanity, forever unpredictable, forever defiant, was now a force to be truly feared.